Howdy folks, this is Hacker Monday, or wow, we do different crazy jobs or crazy things on Mondays around here. This probably won't get released until Tuesday because there is some filming delay issues involved with the topic, I guess, but thought we would burn something. And I had something like a question that was in my mind, and I thought, you know, there's only one way to answer this thing. Just do something with it and we'll see what happens. In this case, we have these new engravers and lasers that cut plywood and things. And I got thinking about some of the lasers. I have several of them sitting here right now, including the longer array 5, which I believe is still on for a special deal for, was it $309 or something? I'll provide a link in the description below, like I always do. And I was thinking, how deep does a laser cut before you have to adjust the laser head and bring it down further? Or can you just cut, you know, well, just keep cutting through until, you know, you've cut 3/4 of an inch of plywood or whatever. And I had looked around, and some people were saying, you know, it'll cut up to 1/4 inch plywood. Other people have told me it'll cut up to 3/4 inch plywood. So I was thinking, well, why not design something really simple like a circle and just cut the circle with the laser, but send it on a cycle where it just keeps cutting and going around and around. And after 20 cycles, 50 cycles, 100 cycles, you know, what does this thing cut to before it's basically, it's done, it won't go any further? I'm not sure what the answer is to that, so I thought we should set something up with a hunk of wood and just start cutting through and different cycles and see how far a laser will cut. Yeah, there is some degree of, I guess, old school here where you just get the saw and you can cut whatever, you know, size you want, but what we're doing is, of course, a laser. And I'm curious about what that laser will cut through. So the only way we find out is let's set up a test and, like I said, cut a circle, a piece of plywood. I'll get some thick plywood and we'll just see how far down that thing will cut. Cool. An idea, or at least a benchmark area to start with. It's a 5-watt laser. It's running at 100% power. It's running at only 1,000 millimeters per second, I believe the rating is on that. Yeah, or per minute. Okay. So it's running at 1/6 the normal speed. So it's really getting hot. That laser is running around very slowly and it's cutting through. The whole project here is to see how deep will that laser cut. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're cutting 100 cycles at 1,000 millimeters per minute, which is very slow, and we're at 100% power on a 5-watt laser with the longer Ray 5 machine here. And the idea is just to see how much cut we get out of this laser at this point without adjusting. See, the focal point of the laser, if I bring the adjustment down a little bit, I can cut deeper. So I thought, rather than just, you know, do that, there we go. Let's see how far into this wood we can cut. And I can tell you right now, yeah, that was it right there. She will easily cut right through. And this is 1/4 inch. The board I'm using, I borrowed it. It doesn't belong with the longer at all, but it came in. It was with another company's product, and I thought, why not? We'll just borrow it for this project. So that's 100 cycles that I just used. You know, I tried 50, it didn't seem to work, so we went to 100 cycles, and it easily, more than, you know, did a nice job on cutting me a little cookie out of my 1/4 inch plywood here. Okay, so this time we're doing the same method, 100 cycles, 100% laser, or 100% power of the laser, at 1,000 millimeters per minute. Speed cut. We could probably even slow that down a little more if we wanted to, but I'm going to do that. And this is 3/4 inch piece of plywood. And again, I want to see how deep the laser actually penetrates at, say, 100 cycles. We might even go higher. We might, after this test, maybe we'll do 200 cycles or something like that. Just curious as to how deep does that laser actually cut. Because it cut the 1/4 inch plywood, so yeah, wow. So what I've got here is the 1/4 inch plywood that was cut out, and it made a nice little hole through the 1/4 inch plywood. But the circle that we made on a 3/4 inch board, this is 100 cycles at 100%, and there's the depth. It's about 1/4 inch, so we sort of have a benchmark at that point as far as that goes. But What if I keep the laser going and say, let's go 500 cycles. Okay, for this next test, we're going to go with 500 cycles at 100%. We'll just see how far down that laser will go. Oh my God. So the results are in. Yeah, here's the thing. I can cut a 1/4 inch piece of plywood reasonably easily with less than 100 cycles of going around 100 times, whatever to cut. But it will cut a 1/4 inch and do a nice job. When we tried the 500 cycle on 3/4 inch board, and we just let it run and run and run at 100%, we got down to almost 3/8 inch. Technically, I'm going to say it'll cut 1/4. After that, it's we're running into, I guess, what I like to call or refer to as the stupid zone, because you know you're just wasting a lot of time to try to get through. Now, granted, a laser cutting something out can do a tremendous amount of work and a beautiful pattern, and you can get lots of good things. So I'm not saying anything negative that way, okay? You just, you know, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. But at 500 cycles to get, say, 3/8 inch or something, I would just go cut something with a bandsaw or something. You know, this would be just, it's just not working. You know, it's too much involved, too much time, too much power, and the results are just not there, you know. But the, again, if you bring the laser head down and cut again, maybe another 50 to 100 cycles, and you just kept doing that, you could get through a 3/4 inch piece of board. Yeah, you could. And again, it's only a 5-watt laser. A 20-watt laser might do a lot different. And in fact, I'll tell you guys what, when we get a 20-watt laser in here, unfortunately we've had them, but I don't have one right now, but I've got one, I think, coming in. We might try the whole process over again and see what a more powerful laser, and see what the difference is in that respect, because this is, like I say, only a 5-watt, so she'll cut up to 1/4 inch plywood, which is cool. It'll do a lot of other beautiful things. The engraving on the laser is just absolutely amazing. In fact, it's so accurate, and it just amazes me every time I see a job when it's finished come off. It's like, wow, you know, this is really nice. The bottom line is, you know, without regard to cycles and time and whatever, you could theoretically get up to about 3/8 inch. Again, without just adjusting the laser head or anything, just keep cutting away with the laser until you get it. So that's kind of cool. So it was an answer. I didn't know the answer when we started this project, but I sure do know exactly what it'll do now. Later this week, Thursday, we have a fantastic draw coming up for some bucket handles that attach to Home Depot, or well, Lowe's buckets, I think specifically was what they were designed for, but also any of the buckets. They'll also hook to a 2-gallon, a 3-gallon bucket. I forgot to mention that, I think, but I was thinking 5-gallon buckets are really what we're after when we're looking for handles like that. Last Thursday, we did the start for draw, and this Thursday, of course, we have another draw coming up for some pretty cool stuff. But I want to do this laser thing, and I've been sort of playing around with the idea of, I know, how deep will one of these things cut, or how much material, and I thought plywood was a good choice because most of us like to cut projects up, and plywood's a good project type build. I had thought about pine or cedar or something crazy, but it was like, nah, you know, let's just do straight plywood and find out how deep will the laser go. Well, 5-watt laser, looks like if you overdo it, like I did, you can get 3/8, and that's all you're going to get. After that, you're going to be spending days getting nothing more. So, yeah. Hey, thank you for watching Coffee Tools. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm out of here. Adios.